So I stayed there just to play basketball. Then I got injured. So I started watching the games and I started taking pictures on my phone. I showed my friends, they were like, oh, you really have an eye. And I was like, are you serious? It turned a hobby into a job, and then the school hired me for it as a student. I was like, okay, I kind of need to start a business or something. So like Captured by Jalen. That's kind of how like the creative spark kind of like flew. Everybody has a story and I just love capturing stories. I was literally like a week from leaving and I told them no. And oh man, I hated sending that email because like I'm a people pleaser sometimes. That's one thing I need to work on. And I don't like making people upset. And I think I made them upset with that. And I remember the phone call and they didn't sound happy. Yeah, it was bad. I feel like it was probably the right decision to do because I stayed here. I got a lot more opportunities and I just had like a great year. I like just treating people well, like how I want to be treated. And I feel like that's probably the biggest way that my name got out there, especially word of mouth. People just come up to me telling me how great like the ideas and stuff. And it's like crazy because at first I didn't want to do it.
So Jalen, thank you for joining the show today.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always looking for the opportunity to speak with other like-minded local creatives. So I appreciate your time today. I'd love to start with learning more about your background because like we literally just met.
Yeah.
So can you talk about, early on, what was that creative spark for you that got you into photo, video, and then, your education background? Just tell me about how you got into what you do today.
It's actually like a crazy story. So like literally when I was young, I was not into camera stuff at all. Like this literally just happened like 2-3 years ago. But I was born in DC, raised in Maryland, played basketball my whole life. So that was really like my primary focus. And I didn't really think that I would ever be like with cameras and anything like that. I wanted to be an architect. That's where the creative stuff really happened. Like I played Minecraft growing up and this other thing called like Google SketchUp. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like a really old program. But I would always like love building stuff. I would love looking at buildings, and architecture was just my passion besides basketball. So I graduated in 2020, which is COVID year. And college really was like really like sucky then because like COVID just messed up everything. So I took a gap year and I went to a prep school to play basketball in Florida. And then did that. That was fun. Then I was like, okay, now I need to go to school. So went to LBC. They were recruiting me for basketball. And I played there for like 2 years. And then I was going to transfer out to go to Drexel or Morgan State to pursue architecture. So I literally had my my transfer thing ready. I was ready to leave. It was the summer of my sophomore year. And I changed my mind to stay at OBC, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. It's really crazy. So I stayed there just to play basketball. And then I got injured. So that really sucked. And I was bored. And my teammates were like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, I guess I'll just watch the game. So I started watching the games and I started taking pictures on my phone. And I showed my friends, they were like, oh, you really have an eye. And I was like, are you serious? And just pictures on my phone. So I started doing it more. And then my school had the camera. It was a sucky camera. It was like a Canon Rebel, I think. So I was using it and I was like, whoa, this is kind of fun. I can kind of see myself doing it. So I started doing it more. And it kind of turned into like a little thing where I started doing it for all the sports teams for my school. And then took a break from it because I was like, okay, maybe I'm moving too fast with this because like I still kind of want to do other things, and I just didn't felt right not doing it, so I started doing it again, and it just turned into like it turned a hobby into a job, and then the school hired me for it as a student, and then I was like, whoa, this is actually cool. I can make money from this, and then after that, which was probably like around maybe 2 years ago, I was like, okay, I kind of need to start a business or something. So like I was trying to figure out like with a name. And it was like so many different names that I tried, but like I wanted to have something that like goes with my name. My name's Jalen. So I was like, what can I do? What can I say? So like Jalen Lens. At first I wanted to be this J Lens because that was like a really cool name. Mm-hmm. But then somebody on Instagram had that name. So I was like, dang. And the person literally had like 2 followers. So I DM'd them. They was like, no, I'm not changing a name. I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, let me think. Captured. So I was like, Captured by Jalen. And then that just kind of stick for my name. And then when I did that, that's kind of when everything blew up because it was like a catchy name around campus that people started calling me, like Captured or Jalen. And then that's kind of how like the creative spark kind of like flew.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can totally relate to the, contemplating the gap year.
Yeah.
But I didn't. So I did my first year at Messiah for college. And then literally similar to you at the last second, I was about to go back for my sophomore year, and then I transferred to Temple.
Oh.
And then it was COVID that spring semester. And then I said, I'm going to take a break. And then I just never went back. So it's kind of just, things can be unpredictable and you just have to pivot. But I guess you could say that if that injury didn't happen, then maybe you wouldn't have been in the position to photograph the games. Like, have you ever thought about the way that could have been a blessing in disguise?
I know. Every now and then I think about it, because when people ask me like, "How'd you get started?" I tell them the story, and it's like, "That's crazy. Maybe that injury was like a blessing." I'm like, "Yeah, it was." But it does, like, it sucks sometimes. But like, then again, I was never like going to make it to the NBA. Like, I'm playing D3 basketball, so I'm just glad that I got like a passion that wasn't lost, and I have something that's like stuck with me from then.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess your entry into it was the sports photography. And then you've obviously incorporated weddings and portraits into that. So how did it branch out from there in terms of like expanding beyond that?
So, like I said, in college I did sports, but then I felt like I could do way more, because like you can do sports and have a great career with that, but like it's just the same thing over and over again. Like you're capturing somebody that wants to win or lose, and that's just like the same thing over no matter what sport it is. And I was like, I kind of want to like branch out. So I started just taking pictures of people on campus, seeing if I like portraits, and I did, because like I like to capture people like expressing how they feel, or like how their day is going, or just like their current mood. And I want to like showcase like you don't have to be uncomfortable in front of a camera. Like I really like, because I used to be uncomfortable in front of a camera. So I just want to bring out those, I guess, flaws in people, and I want them to like, I want to capture them like being comfortable in front of the camera. So I want to do that with portraits, and then I was like, maybe I can do that with weddings. But it's crazy though. So for weddings, I dated this girl, and her sister was a wedding photographer, and when I literally just started taking pictures when I dated her. So like I was talking to her sister, I was like, I kind of want to get into weddings, and she was like, you sure? I was like, yeah. And I showed her my stuff. She's like, oh yeah, you can definitely do it. So she kind of like opened that gate for me to get into weddings. And ever since then, my wedding stuff just kind of like blew up. And then like the other stuff, like, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think. Oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought. But product, there we go. Product stuff. I love doing product stuff too. And then, oh my gosh, I can't think of the word. Not product stuff, but warehouse videos. So I do a lot of videos from like warehouses and like their products and like whatever they need, stuff like that. So I got into stuff like that because that pays way more than a lot of things, and it's easy too. So I just like to branch out to do things that are like kind of easy, but they pay a lot, and they like teach me new things when it comes to recording people or just objects and stuff like that.
So you mean like manufacturing? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the way I was like, yeah.
So is that sort of like corporate video, I guess?
Corporate videos. Oh my gosh. That's what I was looking for. Yes, corporate videos.
I was trying to, like, if you could keep describing it, I could try to help, but
yeah, corporate videos. I got into a lot of stuff like that, like corporate events and corporate like showcases and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think oftentimes that those are the things that have the budgets and they can pay the bills. And then if there's, the passion projects and it's like how to integrate those together, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that, the capture by Jalen's, the people were recognizing that around campus. I think so much of this is about personal branding and building up a name for yourself that's recognizable.
Yeah.
So could you talk about the importance of that and what are ways that you've helped grow your name, in terms of, because I think obviously social media is like the obvious answer, but are there other ways that you've gotten your name out there?
Literally just like my personality. Like I like just treating people well, like how I want to be treated. And I feel like that's probably the biggest way that my name got out there, especially word of mouth, and living in Lancaster, like everybody knows each other. So that was like, I'm glad that I started here, because starting anywhere else probably would have been super hard. And there's just a lot of connections here. So definitely like this being kind to people and just give them good quality work. Like I try to give like every project I do 100%, no matter what. and that this helps me just get more clients and just build a relationship with people and always build connections.
Yeah, I mean, that's gold. Like that.
Yeah.
That's what I sometimes because the majority of my business has been word of mouth, basically all of it for the 6 years I've been doing this full time. And, people ask me, do you run ads? And I really just say, no. I mean,
Yeah.
I've have, the network is what provides the opportunities. And I've only started to boil it down like recently and actually think of like, what are those things that get people to come back or that get the referrals? And it's exactly what you said. It's just, it sounds obvious, but just be a good person, do good work, take pride in your work, like especially early on, regardless of the budget. And people are going to remember that. And eventually there's just this big network tree, and that it's like seeds that you might be planting at a time, and like later you'll see the fruits of that. But it sounds like that's exactly like the philosophy that you've adopted, right?
Yeah.
So, when you wanted to take this like to the next level of actually like creating a business out of this and an income, what were the things that you had to learn? Because I think a common thing with creatives is like, you can have the creative skill set, but when it comes to like pitching your services and knowing how to price things and proposals, invoices and stuff, like how did you learn that? Was it through trial and error? Was it through like YouTube or business mentors? Like how did you grow in that regard?
So when I first started, I was barely charging because like I just enjoyed doing it and I didn't really care about making that much money. But then I was like, well, I kind of have to turn this into a business. I was like, I kind of have to raise my prices. So I talked to my mom because my mom has a business, and she was just telling me, well, she wanted me to raise my prices like crazy, but I'm like, Mom, I'm not doing that. So I talked to other like videographers, photographers, and they was just telling me like some reasonable prices to raise my prices for my work, because like it was like the quality's there, like you just need to raise your prices. So I raised them like probably like a year ago for like my photo shoots, weddings and stuff like that, because I did my first wedding for like I think $500. And I was so happy. Like I was like, whoa, I made $500. And then they gave me a tip of $200. So like I was like, whoa, $700. That's the most I ever made. So I was just cool with charging like $500 to like $1,000 for weddings. And I did that for my first couple like photography for weddings. So I did like $1,000, and I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And then like later down the line, I'm like, what the heck? Why not only charge that much? So it's just also like in the process of doing a wedding, I realized that like, whoa, I'm undercharging myself and this is a lot of work. And even though it's like generous to like put the price down, but like for the work that I do, I need to raise the price and I need to pay the bills because I moved out here. So that's another thing. I moved here to Lancaster last year, like officially, besides living in college for 4 years. But I was like, I kind of need to raise my prices now because I have bills to pay. So that was another reason why I raised my prices. And honestly, like I'm probably going to continue to raise them because like I'm getting like bigger and better cameras, bigger and better gear, and it's just more quality stuff, and it kind of like that comes with the price.
Yeah, that's the way that I've justified it to myself in the past, and how I try to tell other people and give them the confidence to raise their rates, because like as you gain more experience and you have the education that you paid for and you have your equipment kit, I mean, it's more, all of that is built into an hourly rate or a per project rate, because it's more than just the literal time spent. It's all of the time that it took that you accumulated to know how to use the gear and in the way that, you can get everything done quickly. And there's so many things that go into it. So it's, but you also have to get over that fear of rejection, where if you really want to work with somebody, but you quote too high, it's like, well, they might go to somebody else, but I really want to work with them, but I want to be paid what I'm worth. So it's kind of like you're walking this tightrope. Like, can you relate to that?
Yeah. So like when I first started in sports and stuff, I used to go to all these like basketball tournaments, and I used to like say like $20 for like 10 pictures and $50 for like a 30-second video of your highlights. And I used to like be so scared to ask people that because I thought they was going to turn me down. And I used to get so many like yes and no's, and it was just like very confusing. But now like I work for this company called Made Hoops, which is like a media company for basketball. And I have parents walk up to me and they want me to do stuff for them. And I'm just like, bro, I really like, unless you pay me like $200 to $400 for a video, I'm not doing a video for you. Cause like, it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
So I literally got used to like telling people my price and just standing on that because like I have so much stuff I have to do and there's like a time limit for things. I have deadlines and it's just like, if I'm really going to throw you in there, it's going to have to be a price for it.
Mm-hmm. That's good advice.
Yeah.
Because you have to have that self-respect to just know. And that comes with experience of, because you do so many videos, like when you're starting and you're not making that much. You're just like, it's not worth the time. And so, yeah, in terms of building your portfolio, having your website and putting rates like on your website, because I believe when I checked, like you have the, investment on there.
Yeah.
Like talk about the thought process of like what you put on your website, why you put it there. And, because I think there's just websites in general, there's a lot of debate of like how valuable they are. You could just run everything off of Instagram or LinkedIn. Like where do you see like the purpose of a website and like how do you strategically put stuff on there?
Got you. So when I first started, I used to run everything out of Instagram and that was chaotic, like the worst decision ever. And I was like, okay, I kind of need a website now. So I looked up so many like different website builders and like, for example, Wix was one. There's one called Pixieset. And then I forgot the other one I was looking at, but I looked at Square. Square is probably like one of the best website builders ever because like you can also get paid and it just organizes everything from you because Square is also a payment company. So, and then when it came to building my website, at first I didn't know what to do because I was just going to put everything on there and just like try to make it look pretty. But there's actually like a strategy to making your website like good for clients. And I learned that in graphic design because I took that class in college and it's just like the person's eye, you want to lead their eye to like what you're selling. And that's just one thing I want to do on my website. So I just always like, of course, put the best stuff, but I put it in a certain way that it will lead your eye into like, okay, maybe he's gonna like fit my vision or something like that. So, and I also put like a bunch of cool stuff on there just so like I have a different style that I can like meet your needs or whatever. And then when it comes to like my pricing and stuff and like you seeing like, what's the word I'm looking for? So I have my, when you're getting stuff from me, I have it under investments because like I see it as an investment, not just like you're buying something, like you're investing like something like, for example, a wedding, that's memories and stuff that you're getting. And then photo shoots, like that's also like, it can be cool memories. And I just want to like show that I'm not just like trying to like make money off of you. I want to actually like have that relationship. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a big difference between saying fee and investment or rates or if you reframe because then it's it's like you're getting a return on your investment.
Yeah.
I love that. I know that your faith is important to you. Can you talk about how that is just grounds you in life and also I'm sure sustains you and like your career because they're with freelancing or just with work in general if you can have good seasons and then work dries up or they're just the ups and downs of that and like I know with me I'm I've always if a work door closes another one will open soon after and I just think that has to be a God thing, it just can't, I don't know how you explain it. So I'm curious if you've had experiences like that or if you could just talk about, the role that your faith plays.
Yeah. So my faith plays a big role in my work and what I do because like I said, I want to treat everybody how I want to be treated, golden rule. But so like I had many decisions where I said no just because like I was praying about it and I didn't really know the answer for like what was going to come out on the other side. And prayer is just a big part of what I do when it comes to my stuff because sometimes I just don't know the answer. So I just pray about it. But when I first graduated at LBC, I was going to move to Mississippi and work at this school called Southern Miss. And I kept praying about it. And I just didn't know like if that was a good thing to do because I was also starting weddings in Lancaster. I had a girlfriend in Lancaster. All my clients were in Lancaster, but I just wanted something new. So I prayed about it. I was literally like a week from leaving and I told them no. And oh man, I hated sending that email because like I don't like to I'm a people pleaser sometimes. That's one thing I need to work on. And I don't like making people upset. I think I made them upset with that. And I remember the phone call and they didn't sound happy because I was going to be like the lead shooter for them and everything. And it was bad. But I feel like it was probably the right decision to do because I stayed here. And also my faith wasn't as strong when I was doing that. So I stayed here, got stronger in my faith. I met so many cool people, met you.
Yeah.
I got a lot more opportunities and I just had like a great year so far. And I feel like it was definitely a smart decision to stay. And I feel like if I went there, I probably wouldn't I don't know, my faith wouldn't have been as strong and I would have been working around there's nothing wrong with working with people who doesn't believe in Jesus, but I feel like I need to be around that right now while I build my faith. And then maybe I can be a light to others when it comes to stuff like that. But yeah, when it comes to faith, it's definitely a big part of my work.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think everything happens for a reason, and there's going to be a lot of times in life where you're at a fork in the road, and you just have to, trust God, or and then you'll look back, and it's the saying like, faith is when you look at things in reverse and it makes sense. Like you can't see ahead. So you just have to trust. And then you look back and you're like, oh, well, that taught me that lesson. And if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have met these people. So that's a cool way to look at it. If people are, creatives and they want to pursue it full time and they do things on their terms, have their own business, but they're just kind of hesitant to do it, or they just think it's not possible. It's like a common theme on this podcast is it's just showing other people that are doing it and kind of like so people have like an example or people to like emulate, I suppose. Like what would your advice be to people who are a little like they want to freelance but they don't know if they can?
Definitely make that jump, but be smart. Like don't just like make that jump if you don't have a backup plan. Always have a plan B, because you can make that jump to plan A, something fails, and then now you're stuck. You always want to have like another job or something like that just to help you, just in case you don't get as many clients one year or something just doesn't work. But also, just make that jump and just be creative. Like sometimes people are going to say no to your ideas, but that doesn't mean don't like do it. Like always have it in the back of your mind, or always like do what you feel like is right. It depends because that can mean many things. When it comes to being creative, like you can be creative with so many things, and everybody needs a creative friend, or every job needs somebody that's like creative. Like it's really a trend right now to be a good creative, and it's a lot of jobs are being made from it, and it's great right now.
Yeah, it's a very marketable skill, and regardless if you do freelancing full time or if you do it like you work like a part-time job and then you do freelancing, like you can kind of get creative in terms of crafting the career that you have, and it can be very sustainable financially, and you can work with great people, and you don't there's not necessarily a one size fits all in terms of like the formula, but because you said like right now you work at LBC and you do freelancing, so it's like a combination. Like would you say it's like 50-50 or
more like 75 25 probably?
75 LBC and
well, it depends on the season, because right now wedding season is crazy, so it's more wedding season than LBC, but during the school year it's more LBC than my wedding stuff.
That's so do you aspire to eventually be like entirely freelance, or like what is the road ahead look like?
Honestly, like I wanted to try that this year, but it was just smart to have a backup job just in case I'm in a slow season. But eventually I want to be full freelance just for like maybe like 10 to 15 years. And then I want to go back into the college environment because I love working with college students. Like everybody has a story and I just love capturing stories. So working in that college environment is just great for that.
That's awesome that you have that, like you're thinking that far ahead. I don't think a lot of people do that. Like, is there anything else that you, that we didn't cover that you wanted to share about in terms of like stories or
stories? Trying to think.
Like, are there any memorable gigs that you've been on that were like you learned a big lesson from, or like you were able to share a really cool story that was like impactful to you through video?
So I shoot a lot of stuff for LBC. Like the short like content stuff for student life. And at first, I wasn't as excited to do it because I just wanted to be full-time freelance. But this year, I shot so many like question of the days or get to know the student and stuff like that. And it's made a great like impact on campus, and people just come up to me telling me how great like the ideas and stuff. And it's like crazy because at first I didn't want to do it. And now it's like, I'm seeing how it's impacting students or impacting people like outside the LBC, because I have people like walk up to me saying, "You shoot for LBC?" I'm like, "Yeah." I don't know how you know. It's like, your stuff's amazing. This is really nice to like see how my work impacts others and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, that makes it all worth it, is the reactions of the people that you do the work for. Yeah. Because there are times where you might feel like the work could be stressful, or you're just like, oh, can this just like wrap up already? And, you know, you're doing it, you know, for a paycheck, or there's always times like that. But, you know, if there's like for example, I don't do a lot of weddings myself. I've been a second shooter for some of them. But there was one where I was helping with a same day edit, because I do a lot of editing, and I was like, that was my primary role. And I was like, I don't really want to do this, but it was for a colleague of mine that like I really respect, and they needed someone like, so I did it, and I went through the day, and it was just like SD cards getting thrown at me, and like I finished it, and then they showed it, and like I stood in the back while they were showing it at the end of the reception, and like afterwards I went back in the room, and they were like, the bride and groom like want to meet you, and they like came in, and like she gave me a big hug, and like I shook the groom's hand, and they just absolutely loved it, and I was like, you know what? That makes it worth it. Yeah. That's worth it for being here. And also like I met a ton of cool, like from a business perspective, like I, you know, met people who grow my network. So it's like, I think all of that to say is like, what I like to tell people is when you take on a job or something, you don't know who you're going to meet, who you're going to work with, who you're going to impact. And you have to see things as more than just, okay, I'm going through the motions. I'm good at this, but it's like, I want to make something impactful, and I'm going to meet new people, and I'm going to do good work that's going to bring out these emotions in people. It's like that. You have to go deeper into it. And then I think you can create a really fulfilling and purposeful career.
Makes sense.
Out of that. Like, does that resonates with you? I'm sure.
Yeah, I love meeting new people. That's one thing like I strive to do, because you just never know who you're going to meet, and hearing people like talk about themselves and like their life and stuff like that is just inspiring.
I love that. Yeah. If people want to reach out and hire you for any of your services, where's the best links or place for people to go?
You can go to my website. I have a spot where I just have weddings, photo shoots, sports stuff. No matter that, like, it doesn't matter. And then if you anything else, you can just go to like my Instagram, send me a DM, and I'll just respond.
Awesome. Well, I can verify that because you responded to my DM. Yeah. So, all right, awesome. Thanks so much, Jalen. I appreciate your time, and I'm looking forward to following what you do next.
Oh yeah, thanks.